The session is now called to order. Everybody is requested to rise for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisigil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bakha, may nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidigdig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng waraming konsekta, buhay ay langit sa atin mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mamapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please remain standing for the invocation to be delivered by the Honorable Bernadette B.H. Herrera D.
Let us all put ourselves in the presence of the Lord, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this session. Help us to engage in meaningful discussions. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that will affect the Filipino people. And continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for your greater glory, and for the service of humanity. We are of adverse opinion here, yet we wish to mend our differences and reach agreements satisfactory to all. Guide our hearts and minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon each of us, so that we may reach a successful conclusion in all that we will take up today. Thank you for being our source of guidance. We ask all these through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Majority Leader.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that we defer the roll call.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The roll call is deferred.
Madam Speaker, I move that we approve Journal Number 91, covering the session on May 17, 2017. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Journal of May 17, 2017 is hereby approved.
Madam Speaker, I move that we take up reference of business and bills on first reading, and please direct our Secretary General to read the titles and the numbers of the measures.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the reference of business.
Reference of business, bills on first reading, House Bill 5659, establishing a farm school in every town in the country, Representative Chavez.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5662, deterring the exploitation of minors by imposing stiffer penalties, Representative Roman.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill 5666, integrating internet and social media education as part of the curriculum, Representative Vergara.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5667, institutionalizing the existing health promotion program in the country, Representatives Romero and Pineda.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5668, amending Republic Act 9003, Representatives Romero and Pineda.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5669, establishing a transitional justice and reconciliation program for the Bangsamoro, Representative Belmonte Jose Christopher.
To the Special Committee on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity.
Resolutions. House Resolution 1007, direct the Committee on Welfare of Children to investigate the proliferation of cyber prostitution, Representatives Brosas, De Jesus, several others.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1008, congratulating and commending Ms. Rachel Louise Peter, Representatives Garbin, Batocabe, Co, and several others.
To the Committee on Rules.
Messages from the Senate. Messages dated May 15, informing the House that that the Senate to even date pass with amendments House Bill numbers 4402, 938, and 937.
To the Committee on Rules.
Messages dated May 15 informing the House that the Senate on even date pass Senate Bill numbers 1365, 1255, and 1353.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message dated May 15 informing the House that the Senate on even date designated Senators Villar, Villanueva, Gordon, Subiri, and Bam Aquino as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 1365 and House Bill 4767.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message dated May 16 informing the House that the Senate on May 15 designated Senators Joseph Victor Ejercito, Rizon Severos, Nancy Binay, and Joel Villanueva as conferees of the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 1353 and House Bill 5159.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message dated May 17 informing the House that the Senate even date approved the Conference Committee report on the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 1365 and House Bill 4767.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communications. Letter dated April 24, Pauline Jean B. Rosel Ubial, Secretary, Department of Health.
To the Committee on Health.
Annual audit report on the January Haniway Water District, Haniway, Iloilo.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Committee reports, report number 425, House Bill number 5670.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 246 on House Bill number 5675.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the visitors of Representative Cheryl Diloso Montalia. They are 35 students from Ramon Magsaysay Technological University Castillejos Campus Graduate School who are presently taking up Masters in Public Administration. May I request the visitors of Representative Montalia to please stand to be acknowledged.
Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, today being a Monday, in pursuant to our rules, I move that we open the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Chair declares a privilege hour. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we suspend the session for 1 minute.
Session is suspended.
Bukas, Pascuan Village at saka sa afternoon, yung PhilHealth.
Maiksi kasi yung skirt.
Ano yun? Nandiyan na? Yeah. Madam Speaker, I move that we resume session.
Session is resumed.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Pia Cactano, Deputy Speaker, for her privileged speech.
The Honorable Pia Cayetano, Deputy Speaker, is recognized for her privileged speech.
Madam Speaker, I'm just being asked to move. I'll just move. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me to rise on a matter of personal privilege. 2 weeks ago, I joined the Philippine delegation which presented the report of the Philippines for the third cycle of the Universal Periodic Review, the UPR, before the United Nations Human Rights Council. This is my report. Many people may not be aware that universal human rights also include the right to education, health, adequate living standards, social security, freedom from discrimination, and many other things. This has been the focus of my work for the last 13 years as a member of the Senate, then and currently as a member of the House of Representatives, drafting bills that now form part of a package of laws to enhance social services and to strengthen and protect the rights of all Filipinos, especially the marginalized. I also have extensive experience dealing with international bodies as a former president of the Bureau of Women Parliamentarians of the Interparliamentary Union. Thus, I was asked to join the Philippine delegation for the UPR. What is the UPR? The UPR is a periodic review of all 193 UN member states, which provides an opportunity for all states to declare what actions they have taken to improve the human rights situation in their countries and to overcome challenges to the enjoyment of human rights. It also includes a sharing of best practices around the globe. What is in our report? In presenting our report, my brother, then Senator and now Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Alan Peter Cayetano, who co-led the delegation, affirmed our culture of respect for human rights and our determined pursuit of a humane and holistic approach to development and governance. He also emphasized that the Philippine government under President Rodrigo Duterte is committed to real change, to peace and development, and to addressing the problem of poverty and inequality. Also adding that the Philippine government is committed to an open, inclusive, constructive, and transparent review before the UPR and continues to support the UPR process and the UN human rights system. What we presented before the Human Rights Council were gains in all fronts as well as true facts and real numbers to dispel allegations and correct misinformation spread by critics against the Philippine government's campaign on illegal drugs. We also emphasize that our government adopts a holistic and balanced approach to address the problems on criminality and illegal drugs, and that substantial resources have been allotted to the public health dimension of the anti-drug policy, as well as to strengthen the function of the Philippine Commission on Human Rights, the budget of which has been increased by 65% from 2016 and over 100% from 2015 under the current administration. Likewise, private sector participation to ensure a more effective and sustainable rehabilitation and reintegration program for the surrendering drug users has been encouraged, in addition to measures to strengthen law enforcement and judicial mechanisms. Secretary Alan Cayetano also underscored the fact that, in keeping with the state's duty to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedom, the People's Campaign Against Illegal Drug is pursued to preserve the lives of the Filipino people and prevent the country from turning into a narco state. At all times, the Duterte administration seeks to uphold the rule of law. In fact, President Duterte has a policy of zero tolerance for abuse by law enforcers. Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Menardo Guevara, who co-led the Philippine delegation, also stressed that our country has consistently adopted and maintained a culture of respect for human rights. The relevant implementation mechanism and institutions to enable our country to comply with its treaty obligations are all in place and functioning properly. On my end, I reported on the passage of legislation for the protection and welfare of vulnerable or marginalized groups such as persons with disabilities, women and children, older persons, and indigenous people. Regarding the implementation of our reproductive health law, I also highlighted the serious setbacks we are currently faced due to the temporary restraining order issued by the Supreme Court. The response. The member states recognize that the Philippines has implemented most of the recommendations presented during the last UPR cycle in 2012. There were concerns raised specifically in the areas of alleged EGK, death penalty, and the lowering of the age of criminality, and we also received positive comments highlighting the progress of our work, especially in the following areas: ensuring the enjoyment of social economic rights of our people by combating poverty, especially through the implementation of the Philippine Development Plan 2017-2022. Vigorous efforts to ensure a safe and secure environment for the full enjoyment of human rights of the greater majority of our people, carrying on with the relentless fight against trafficking in persons, the ratification of the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture, upholding the rights and welfare of vulnerable groups, especially women and children, empowering women and closing gender gaps, as well as the protection of children from exploitation and during times of conflict, and our efforts towards inclusive development, especially in improving access to quality education, health, and other social services. Our colleagues in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, who, by their own first-hand experience, are quite aware of the gravity of our illegal drug problem, express full support for our fight to rid our part of the world of the scourge of illegal drugs. China has called on other states to join the Philippines in the campaign, while Japan had offered assistance in drug treatment programs and facilities. The final outcome: there are around 265 recommendations formulated during the interactive dialogue with the other member states, which include recommendations for legislative measures that Congress would have to consider. This will be examined by our delegation, which will endorse concerns to the respective offices and branches of government for further action. Side meetings. In addition to the meetings in Geneva, I was also tasked to meet other European parliamentarians in Brussels and Spain. They appreciated receiving accurate information about the current situation in the Philippines, which they only read about in international media. I discussed with them common interests, especially in the field of health, education, and culture. They all express interest in strengthening ties with the Philippines and look forward to working closely with the Philippine government. Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we would like to acknowledge the visitors of Deputy Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Pia Cayetano to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion to refer the speech of the Honorable Cayetano to the Committee on Rules is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the visitors of Honorable Rani Abo, Deputy Speaker, members of the Sangguniang Bayan of the Municipality of San Luis, 2nd District, Batangas. May we request the visitors to please stand to be recognized. Honorable Danilo Medina, Vice Mayor, Honorable Maan de Gracia, Honorable Nestor Mangubat, Honorable Ed Pagkaliwagan, Honorable Lilian Siscar Ilagan, Honorable Adelio Bonsol, Honorable Marie Magsombol, Honorable Sixto Lasala, Honorable Roland de Villa, and Honorable Crisostomo Marasigan.
Thank you very much and welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we would also like to acknowledge the presence of our visitors from the Parliamentary Institute of Cambodia, who are here in the Philippines for a 5-day study mission from May 21 to 25. Dr. Darit, may we request the visitors to please stand to be acknowledged. Dr. Darit Pat, Dr. Lutz Likanan, Ricardo P. Mira, Hoy Vandi, Sei Sakuraran, Chia Malika, Mam Chenda, Chia Sereirat, Wong Charik Smedara, Kemsik Ratanak, Viati Wong Vietanak, Mith Chanti.
To our friends from Cambodia, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we would also like to acknowledge the presence of the visitors of Honorable Rico Hiron, Honorable Anthony Bravo, Honorable Sabiano Canama. They are members of 200 visitor cooperative members from various cooperatives attending this day's session, namely Philippine Cooperative Center. May we request the visitors to please stand to be acknowledged. Federation of People Sustainable Development Cooperative, Philippine Federation of Teachers and Employees Cooperative, Federation of Cooperative Workers Organization, Novaliches Development Credit Cooperative, San Dionisio Credit Cooperative, COUNTPA, CUMC, National Market Vendors Confederation of Cooperatives, Philippine Army Finance Center Producers Integrated Cooperative, Valenzuela Development Cooperative, Holy Cross Savings and Credit Cooperative, ACCDI MPC, Cooperative Union of Taguig Impateros, Cooperative Union of Marikina City, Marikina Federation of Cooperatives, Bao Paris Multipurpose Cooperative.
Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Gabriel Bordado.
The Honorable Gabriel Bordado is now recognized for his privileged speech.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege. A couple of weeks ago, I had a meeting with Dr. Yolanda Navarro, the provincial manager of the National Food Authority in Camarines Sur. She was, among other things, appealing for our support to ensure that the NFA can fulfill its mandate of serving as the food security watchdog of the government. Madam Speaker, she also disclosed that as of April 30, 2017, the rice stock inventory of NFA Camarines Sur stood at 42,293 bags, good for only 3 days, considering the province's daily consumption level of 13,840 bags. Madam Speaker, I surmised then that the situation in Camarines Sur could find resonance in other provinces of the country. So I did some research. For the past 16 years, we supposedly lack an annual average of 1.27 metric tons to meet the total annual average consumption of 11.6 million metric tons. The slide there shows that the production levels in green bars and the consumption levels in red bars. Madam Speaker, you will notice that the red bars, where are the red bars? Okay, you will notice that the red bars are consistently higher than the green bars. On the average, Madam Speaker, we produce 10.3 million metric tons annually, which is short of 1.27 million metric tons of our annual average consumption. The figures from the Bureau of Agricultural Statistics indicate that we can produce, Madam Speaker, enough rice for food consumption, but the current level of production is still not sufficient to meet the total demand when we consider the need for seeds, feeds, and processing. Since 2000, we have been importing an annual average of 1.3 million metric tons. Without resorting to importation, our supply of rice, based on government data, will not be sufficient to meet the demand for total consumption, Madam Speaker. Aside from meeting the demand for consumption, our government, through the National Food Administration, must maintain buffer stock for emergencies to forestall any supply shortfall in times of calamities and abnormal situations. The need for buffer stock, Madam Chairman, is critical, particularly during the so-called lean months from July to September, which coincidentally fall within the typhoon season. Madam Chairman or Madam Speaker, reports from the field, particularly from the province of Camarines Sur, reveal that the current stock of rice available at our NFA warehouses will only be able to meet the demand until the end of this month. This situation is likely replicated, Madam Speaker, in all the NFA warehouses nationwide. While there may be a bumper harvest this season, Madam Speaker, NFA is not able to procure palay from the farmers who prefer to sell their harvests to private traders owing to the higher price offered by the latter. There is also no assurance, Madam Speaker, that the bumper harvest will continue in the next cropping seasons, considering production uncertainties such as the effects of pests, typhoons, and other climatic forces. On the other hand, Madam Speaker, our colleague, the Honorable Representative Ariel Casilaw of the Anak Pawis party list, has a different view altogether, as cited in a news report published in the May 19, 2017 issue of a national periodical. He noted, Madam Speaker, based on government data, the upward trend in palay production from 2011 to 2015. Representative Casilaw was quoted by the newspaper as saying that there is no rice shortage. Rice is merely in the hands of the private sector, unquote. Moreover, Madam Speaker, the good representative assailed the NFA's so-called import mentality, stating, again based on government data, Madam Speaker, that its actual purchase of palay from farmers is negligible compared to the total rice production, while its imports dwarf local production, unquote. Madam Speaker, I am therefore strongly suggesting that an inquiry in aid of legislation be conducted by the Committee on Agriculture and Food to settle this contentious issue once and for all, while at the same time, Madam Speaker, checking whether the support systems for farmers from various government entities are still in place and properly working to ensure not only rice self-sufficiency, but also food security for our people. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we
Mr. Chair.
refer...
Yes, what is
May I
the
be allowed to react since my name was mentioned by our colleague as an interpellation?
Majority Leader?
Madam Speaker, may I move to recognize Representative I. Casilaw?
The gentleman is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Speaker. While the data of our colleague was correct when we had our extensive research, may I ask my colleague whether or not he believes that the problem, one, that we should look into as part of our plan to conduct an inquiry is because of the presence of a long-standing cartel in the rice industry, from the production up to the distribution, which also includes participation of government agencies and officials. that tends to manipulate the statistics and data with regards to the current existing supply, the need for our consumption, and the need to secure the stock of rice based on not on the production level but on the statistics based on how they interpret the need for importation.
Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Bordado may respond if he so
Yes,
pleases.
Madam Speaker, I am honored to respond to the question of my colleague, the Honorable Casilaw. Yes, I tend to agree with you, Honorable Casilaw. There seems to be, Madam Speaker, an invincible hand, so to speak, which in effect trying to influence all this data and the pricing. So that is the major reason, Madam Speaker, why I am suggesting that we conduct an inquiry into this particular situation, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Madam Speaker. While we have already in the level of the committee discussing the plan of government intervention with respect to the termination of our quantitative restriction on June 30 of this year, it seems that the focus of government is only on solving the question whether or not to impose specific percentage of tariffication. But this representation, and I believe we have a common understanding of the problem, let us not be only limited to the question whether how much or what percentage is to be imposed when importation of rice to answer the problem of supply and stocks for lean season in the upcoming lean season, but whether to really address the core of the problem when our farmers are able to produce enough supply not only for the consumption level but also for the stock in preparation for any unwarranted or situations like calamities and to pile up stocks in the coming lean season. So, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, Madam Speaker, this representation also is in unison with our colleague that the discussion, whether it be in an aid of a conduct of an inquiry or in the deliberation of the committee, let us really address the core of the problem, not only the existence of the cartel, but also the very nature that we are a rice-producing country, and we have a capability of continuing such. However, there are policies that restricts or constricts this capacity because of our commitment to the World Trade Organization, the Agreement on Agriculture, that prohibits or for the lack of political will of our government, that restricts our own. We are the ones restricting or limiting ourselves in fully subsidizing or fully tapping the capacity of our rice-producing farmers. That would be all, Madam Speaker, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the opportunity.
Madam Speaker, I agree with good Congressman Casilaw, and I hope that the so-called core of the problem will be truly addressed in the conduct of that particular inquiry I am requesting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Gabriel Bordado to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion to refer the speech of the Honorable Bordado to the Committee on Rules is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the gentleman from Buhay Party List, Representative Lito Atienza.
The Honorable Atienza is hereby recognized.
Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Majority Floor Leader, salamat po sa inyong pagkilala at pagbibigay daan tayo'y makapagbigay ng mensahe sa ating kapulungan. Noong Marso 14, 2017, itong taong ito, ang inyong lingkod ay tumayo rito at aking isinumbong sa mga kinauukulan ang patuloy na pambabastos sa bandila ng ating bansa. Ang ating bandila sa maraming bahagi ng ating kapuluan ay hindi pinangangalagaan ng wasto. Hinahayaang ito'y mabasa, maulanan, maarawan, maputikan, hanggang sa ito'y nanggigitata na. At dito lamang hindi kalayuan sa atin, meron tayong dambana rito ng kalayaan. Ang simbolo ng pagkakaisa ng ating bansa nung tayo'y nagpalaya sa ating sarili sa tanikala ng batas militar. I am talking about the People Power Monument which stands along EDSA. Ang bandila natin, ginoong tagapangulo, ay simbolo ng ating paninindigan bilang isang bansang kumikilala at nagmamalaki sa buong mundo ng ating kasarinlan. Ito nagdala ng inspirasyon sa ating mga kapatid na Pilipino noong panahong mga nakaraan upang ibigay ang kanilang mga buhay upang palayain tayo sa kamay ng mga mananakop. Ito rin na naging paraan upang ang ating mga kapatid, magulang na Pilipino ay tumayo at ipaglaban ang ating kalayaan sa mga mapanakop na Hapones noong mga nakaraang panahon. Ito rin ang simbolo ng ating damdamin bilang Pilipino, malaya, marangal at mayroong kagalingan na kinikilala ng buong mundo. Kaya hindi ko po maatim na ito'y hindi natin punahin. We have taken note of this 2 months ago and nothing has been changed. You can pass by EDSA and you will witness the flags in our Monument of Freedom ng gigitata. Kulay brown, kulay lupa, na para bagang yun ang kanilang bandila kung sino man ang namamahala ng dambanang yun. And I speak for the countless monuments in our country now and government installations and offices which also carry the same desecrated symbol of their incompetence and inefficiencies. Kaya muli ako'y tumatayo rito, gaya ng sinabi ko, kung hindi natin kikilanlin ang ating bandila, hindi tayo magiging tunay na malaya. Ano man ang sabihin ng ating Pangulo na pagtatanggol niya sa ating kasarinlan bilang isang republika, yan ay magiging parabagang tunog lamang ng isang lata na walang laman sapagkat hindi po pinatutupad ang batas na nagbibigay ng pagkilala sa ating bandila. Ang bandila natin, pinakamagandang bandila sa buong mundo. Dito lamang mayroon talagang simbolo. Ang kapayapaan, ang ating paninindigan laban sa pananakop, ang nagniningning na kinabukasan ng ating bansa. Na kapag pinabayaan natin, at ito'y papuno na ng putik at hindi man lang bigyan ng pansin ng mga namamahala, ay para baga tayong lahat ay hindi tumutugon sa hamon ng ating panunungkulan. We are elected officials in this body. As one voice, we should denounce this continued desecration of the Philippine flag. Sa darating na Mayo 28, ito po'y araw ng ating paggunita sa ating bandila. this is what we call as the Flag Day, Philippine Flag Day, wherein we are encouraging every Filipino all over the islands to be proud of your flag. How can we celebrate May 28th? How can we celebrate, even commemorate the Philippine Flag Day if we do not respect our flags in our vicinities and compounds? Madam Speaker, ang aking panawagan noon ay para bagang hindi narinig ng mga bingi at hindi tumugon ang mga pipi at walang silbing mga lingkod bayan. Sapagkat yung mga bandila sa mga tanggapan ng ating pamahalaan ang nangunguna sa karumihan at kabulukan ng kanilang mga mukha. Ang larawan ng ating tunay na pagkatao bilang Pilipino ay nandyan sa bandilang yan. And if we cannot recognize the fact that we all have to respect our own flag, then we have no reasons to claim independence nor sovereignty. Sovereignty should come from within. Sovereignty should be part and parcel of every citizen of this republic. Kinakailangan pong gisingin natin ang bawat Pilipino sa ating pangangailangang matuto tayong magtanggol sa simbolo ng pagkakaisa. Ang simbolo nagbigay ng inspirasyon upang ang ating mga kapatid at magulang ay magbuwis ng kanilang buhay, dugo na dumanak sa kanilang pakikihamok upang ipagtanggol ang ating kasarinlan. Ang paglalagablab ng damdaming ito ay magpapatuloy lamang kung ang ating bandila ay ating kinikilala. Sayang ang pagbubuwis ng buhay ng ating mga bayani kung hindi natin gagawin ang ating tungkulin ngayon. Sa panahon ng kadiliman, sa panahon ng paninikil at panggigipit ng batas militar, ang isang bagay lamang na napakasimple, subalit nagbigay ng tapang sa ating lahat ay ang ating bandila. Ito rin ang magdadala sa atin sa tagumpay ng ating ekonomiya. We will prosper as a nation if we respect ourselves through our flag and give it the proper treatment as even pronounced and provided for by law. So therefore, they are not only violating the laws of the land, they are violating the basic principles of independence and our sovereignty if they do not take care of the Philippine flag properly. Sa araw na ito, gaya ng sinabi ko noon, kung ayaw ninyong gawin ang inyong tungkulin, gagawin kong misyon ng aking tanggapan, papalitan ko lahat ng bandila sa mga tanggapan ng gobyerno, gagastusin ko ang allowance na binibigay sa atin dito upang makapagbigay tayo ng paraan sa pagbabago. Pagbabagong ang bandila ay naiiwan, hindi po pagbabago yan. Ang pagbabago ay dapat nagsimula sa ating damdamin at marubdob na pagnanais na tayo ikilanlin bilang isang malayang bansa. Today, I have the initial set of flags and I am going to the monument of the People Power Revolution to change the flags there. At kung sino man ang pumigil sa akin, sila ang kakasuhan ko. They are a hindrance to our quest for Philippine independence. Sila ang balakid sa pag-asenso ng ating ekonomiya, sapagkat ang sino mang hindi kumikilala sa ating bandila at hindi nagbibigay ng pahalaga dito ay hindi Pilipino. Ang lahat ng Pilipino, lalo na yung nanumpa sa kanilang mga tungkulin, ipagtatanggol ang bandila, ipagtatanggol ang ating saligang batas. Ayusin nyo ang mga bandila sa inyong mga tanggapan. In fact, we should encourage the display of the Philippine flag in every home so that we may always be reminded of our inspiration as a nation. I am now with me a sample of this flag. Tingnan po ninyo ang diferensya nitong bandilang ito na ang lahat ng kulay ay taglay. Pati itong bandila natin sa Kongreso natin, pwede nang palitan sapagkat hindi na rin po kaakit-akit ang kulay. We should never allow this, Madam Speaker. And I call the attention of each and every Filipino na nagmamahal sa bansa, magtulungan tayo. Gisingin natin ang ating national and local government units. Gisingin natin ang National Historical Commission. Gisingin natin ang National Culture Commission on Culture and the Arts. Gisingin natin ang National Heraldry Commission. Gisingin natin ang lahat ng sumisweldo upang pangalagaan ang ating bandila na walang ginagawa. Obviously, they're sitting on their fat. Hindi ko lang masabi yung mga sinasabi ng ating Pangulo. Pero gusto kong bigkasin sapagkat nagngingit-ngit ang aking damdamin sa mga nakikita nating pagsasawalang bahala. Sasabihin ng marami, ito'y maliit na bagay. Maliit na bagay, subalit ito ang nagbibigay halaga sa ating bansa at sa ating tunay na pagkatao bilang Pilipino. If you cannot respect the Philippine flag, you have no right to be called a Filipino. And now, therefore, I reiterate my call to all the agencies involved. I'm calling the attention of President Duterte. He is very fond of citing sovereignty and independence of our nation. Let's start with giving honors and recognition to the Philippine flag that has given all generations of Filipinos the kind of inspiration to defend our nation. Inuulit ko po, lahat ng kinauukulan, kayong mga direktor, kayong mga nagmamahala ng mga tanggapan ninyo, basta't meron kaming nadaan ng bandila na nanggigitata, ibababa po namin yan at papalitan namin. Kung gusto nyo pigilin kami, pigilin nyo kami, subukan nyo. Sapagkat kayo ang mali, kami ang tama. Tungkulin po natin lahat ito, Madam Speaker, and let us all be part of the change, pagbabago. Umpisahan natin sa ating sariling bandila na igalang natin. Ipagmalaki natin. Iwagayway natin ang ating bandila sapagkat ito ang maghahatid sa atin sa tunay na dapat kalagyan ng Pilipino. Hindi yung bandilang nanggigitata na para bagang ginagamit na lang natin, pwedeng basahan, pwede na yung ituring na basura dahil ito'y hindi natin ginagalang at binibigyan ng wasong pagkilala. With this message, Madam Speaker, I stand here again calling the attention of those in charge of our monuments, our shrines, and our monuments of our heroes that they should be careful in treating the Philippine flag. Otherwise, they have no business staying in the government. Maraming salamat po.
Madam Speaker.
What is the pleasure of the gentleman?
Will the gentleman from Manila and our representative of the party list yield to some interpellations, Madam Speaker?
Nanggagaling po sa isang miyembro ng ating kagawaran na alam kong ang puso ay nasa tamang lugar, ay aking pong ituturing na malaking karangalan na ako po naman ay kanyang tanungin sa aking mga binigkas.
Please proceed.
Maraming salamat po. Unas lahat, I would like to congratulate the gentleman for his courage in bringing up to this august body a very important issue that should be given utmost priority by our Congress and our government. The respect of our symbol of our nation. May we know why you only stand now to bring this to the attention of this august body and for the information of our people who are now here in the gallery. Bakit ngayon lang po ninyo sinasabi itong nangyari na kawawa ang ating simbolo ng ating bayan? Ginoo.
Madam Speaker, with due respect to the gentleman, let me reiterate my position and my statement in the opening of my message. On March 14, 2 months ago, I stood on the same rostrum, saying the same things, reminding the government, both local and national, agencies, units, to take care of the Philippine flag properly. Because otherwise, we may be accused of not even taking our flag seriously. Sinabi ko po yun noong Marso 14, binigyan ko po ng 2 buwan upang magbago at sila na mismo umayos. Subalit gaya ng sinabi ko, andyan po, EDSA People Power Monument. Andyan lang po, sa EDSA. Tingnan po ninyo. Walang pagbabago. 18 bandila, nanggigitata. Isang malaking bandila, nanggigitata. Talagay ko yung mga namamahala dyan, nanggigitata rin sa kanilang sarili. Walang pagbabago. Yun ang aking panawagan noon, yun ang aking panawagan ngayon. And I wear the Philippine flag even in my lapel proudly kapag ako'y nagmamalaking matawag na isang Pilipino.
Maraming salamat po. Maliban sa napuna mong Philippine flag natin na parang binabaliwala, pinaarawan, binabasa ng ulan, at it's being mistreated, disrespected by our officers of our government. Ano pa po ang mga dapat nating i-remind sa ating mga kinatawan dito, maliban sa national flag natin? Di ba po, dapat sa nangyari ngayon na parang marami sa ating kababayan na hindi na nagbigay ng respeto sa ating mga batas. Hindi ba po dapat palaalahanan natin sila sa historya ng ating mahal na inang bayan na marami po ang nagsakripisyo, nagbigay ng kanilang sariling dugo at buhay para iligtas sa mga dayuhan ang ating sariling bayan. Sa panahon ng Espanya, ang ating mga bayani nagpakamatay para sa ating bayan. Sa panahon ng Hapon, maraming nagboluntaryo para tayo ay magligtas at maging independente at magkaroon ng sariling ating bansa. Hindi ba po dapat sabihan na natin at pag-isahan natin kasama ang ating mga national agencies sa sinasabi mong National Historical Commission, National Archives at lahat, kasama na ang ating Kongreso na dapat ibalik, dapat ipakita sa ating mga anak, sa ating mga mamamayan, kung ano ang historya, ang dating nangyari sa ating bansa. Di ba po dapat gawin natin yan sa madaling panahon?
Tama po kayo. Kaya nakatutuwa po naman na kasama po sa ating curriculum ang pagrespeto sa ating bandila. Ito po itinuturo sa lahat ng paaralan. Ang aking pinagtataka ay bakit nagpapabaya ang mga kinauukulan? Bakit ang mga namumuno sa mga tanggapan na siyang dapat sila ang nangangalaga at hindi yung pangkaraniwang kawani, ay bakit hindi nila ginagawa? Dapat po maingat tayo. Hindi dapat nabubulok ang bandila kailanman sa kanyang kalagayan sa flagpole. Dapat yan ay pinapalitan once a month. Magkano lang po ba ang isang bandila? Wala pa pong 200. Mas malaking halaga po ba sa isang direktor ng isang bureau na palitan yung bandila sa kanyang flagpole, miya't miya, para hindi po nakikita na masagwa ang kulay at wala ng kabuluhan halos at gutay-gutay na sa ilang bahagi. Yan ay nagpapakita lang ng mga nasa gobyerno na walang tunay na damdaming makabayan. Kaya kung ang sinasabi nyo ay dapat lang ipaalala sa kanila, tama po, yun nga po ang pakay ko, isigaw sa lahat ng sulok ng bansa na huwag natin pababayaan ang bandila na hindi iginagalang sa tamang kalagayan. At kung meron tayong magagawa, palitan natin pag humara-hara yung direktor doon, arestuhin natin for violating the laws that protect the Philippine flag. Meron tayong batas na nagbibigay ng paraan upang ang lahat ay bahagi sa paggalang sa ating bandila. Binanggit ko sa inyo, Mayo 28 ay araw ng ating bandilang Pilipino. Philippine Flag Day. Ito po ay tungo sa araw ng ating kasarinlan, Hunyo 12. Andito na naman tayo, dadaan tayo sa Philippine Flag Day. Ang daming bandila na bulok na sa kanilang kalagayan, subalit pinababayaan. Yun po ang nais natin baguhin, yung ating pagsasawalang bahala at sa ating pagtanggap na lamang sa mga kapalpakan ng mga kinauukulan. I call on the President because I see him wearing the same pin of the Philippine flag. He is not wearing a yellow ribbon. He's not wearing a black ribbon. He's wearing the Philippine flag proudly wherever he goes, locally or foreign trips. Nangangahulugan lang na minamahal niya at iginagalang niya ang bandilang Pilipino. Kinikilala niya ang kanyang pagiging leader ng mga Pilipino. Minamahalaga niya ang simbolo ng ating tunay na pagkatao. Bakit niya pinababayaan yung mga direktor na hindi inaasikaso ang bandila sa kanilang mga kagawaran at kanilang mga tanggapan? So I call on him, alisin niyo sa pwesto kung kinakailangan. It is a major offense if you do not respect the Philippine flag in the performance of your duties. And I will consider, even on the border of treason, if you do not recognize properly the Philippine flag. And I hope President Duterte hears this message so that he will act decisively. Kung mumurahin niya ang mga nagkakasala dyan, tatanggapin kong dapat lang murahin sila.
Hindi ba po, Madam Speaker, na may batas tungkol dito na iwawagayway natin sa ating mga residensya, sa mga public places, ang ating Philippine flag every 28th day of May every year?
Tama po. Palagay ko wala nang mas maganda pang bandila sa buong mundo. Nahihigit pa sa bandila ng ating bansa. Bakit hindi natin ipagmalaki?
Pwede ba iwagayway mo yung hinahawakan mo ngayon ng bandila?
Yan po ang bandilang Pilipino na dapat lang ay pinagmamalaki ng bawat Pilipino. Hindi ko po maintindihan ang sino mang hindi kumikilala dito sa pangangailangan ito. Kaya ginigising natin sila at sana murahin sila ni Pangulong Duterte.
Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, I urge all of us to fly a flag in our residence and in our plazas, in our districts all over the Philippines on May 28, 2017. Maraming salamat po.
In reaction to that, Madam Speaker, I am definitely accepting the offer and the challenge of my colleague that we should really display the Philippine flag. As members of the Philippine Congress, we should display the Philippine flag in our residences. Sa bahay natin, magandang meron po bandila ng Pilipino. Hindi lang sa araw ng ating bandila, not only on the commemoration of Philippine flag, May 28, the Philippine Flag Day, but on a daily basis, maglagay tayo ng bandila upang ating isigaw sa lahat ng dumaraan sa ating lansangan. Dito, nakatira si Congressman Juan de la Cruz na mayroong bandila sa kanyang tahanan. That is a very timely offer and challenge, and I hope our colleagues will respond favorably. Let us wave the Philippine flag in our own homes to signify our support for sovereignty, independence, unity, and the future of our country.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, the Honorable Lito Atienza of Manila.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Speaker, sa idinagdag na mga words of wisdom and practical sense ng ating kagalang-galang na Congressman Oging Mercado. Thank you. Salamat po. Mabuhay.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of Honorable Lito Atienza to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion to refer the speech of the Honorable Atienza to the Committee on Rules is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we terminate the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The privilege hour is terminated.
Madam Speaker, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the visitors of Honorable Greg Garsataya, headed by Nona Magbanwa, Rex Canton, Renato Duran, Juan Elmer Obaldo. May I request the visitors of Representative Greg Sataya to please stand to be recognized.
Please rise to be recognized, the guest of the Honorable Greg Gasataya from Bacolod City. Thank you and welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, I move that we call the roll.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to call the roll of members.
Roll call of members, honorable representatives. Abad, Abaya, Abayon, Abellanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglibay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batucabe, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte Feliciano, Belmonte Jose Christopher, Belmonte Ricardo, Benitez, Bernos, Bertiz, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilia, Bundok, Bordado, Bravo Anthony, Bravo Merabida, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto Rubiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilaw, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fredenil, Catamco, Cayetano, Serafica, Cirilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Cuanco, Colliantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, De Vera, Defensor, Del Mar, Del Rosario, De Los Montalia, Dimaporo Abdullah, Dimaporo Khalid, Duwabit, Durano, Di, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Erigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Ibardone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Ferriol, Floyrendo, Flores, Fortuno, Fentebella, Garbin, Garcia Gwendolyn, Garcia Jose, Garcia Albano, Gary Richard, Gary Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Heron, Guana Cristina, Gomart, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Alexandria, Gonzales Aurelio Dong, Gonzales Fernando, Goriseta, Gulyas, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Halesos, Javier, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lisatin, Liachon, Lee, Lim Kay Chong, Lobrigat, Lopez Benur, Lopez Carlo, Lopez Manuel, Loyola, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangudodato Suarto, Mangudodato Sajid, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Noel, Nieto, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Carlo, Nolasco, Nunez Maleñaon, Waminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong Edwin, Ong Henry, Ortega Pablo, Ortega Vini, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Relampagos, Revilla, Rowapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez Isidro, Rodriguez Maximo, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque Hari, Roque Rogelio, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento Cesar, Sarmiento Edgar, Sevillano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez, Si Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan Angelina, Tan Milagrosa, Tan Shirley, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi Nataman, Ti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Uy Bareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Vilarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Vergara, Villapuerte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Vilago, Yap Artur, Yap Melesio, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Mar Carmen, Zamora Ronaldo, Sarate, Subiri. Madam Speaker, the roll call shows that 219 members responded to the call.
With 219 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we take up unfinished business.
Yes, Majority Leader. Proceed.
Madam Speaker, under the calendar of unfinished business, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 4149 as contained in Committee Report number 17, submitted by the Committee on Local Government. And for this purpose, may I ask that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill.
The Secretary General is hereby directed.
House Bill number 4149, an act exempting from the population and land area requirements the conversion of a municipality into a component city if it has a locally generated average annual income of at least 250 million pesos. Amending for the purpose Section 450 of Republic Act number 7160 as amended, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, the parliamentary status of the bill is that it is in the period of sponsorship and debate. I move that the chairperson of the Committee on Local Government be recognized, Representative Pedro Acharon Jr.
The Representative Acharon is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are now prepared to answer questions.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to move that the explanatory note will form part of my explanatory note, Madam Speaker, and I'm ready now to answer questions.
So moved.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Celso Lobregat, gentleman from the 1st District of Zamboanga City.
The Representative Lobregat is hereby recognized to interpellate the sponsor.
Madam Speaker, may I know if the committee chairman, my good friend, Congressman Acharon, the committee chairman of the local government, is willing to answer some clarificatory questions?
Gladly, Madam Speaker.
Before I start my interpolation, I would like to make it clear that representing a city, I was once a mayor for 9 years. We were very much involved in the Supreme Court cases on the 16 cities wherein the Supreme Court had flip-flopping decisions. And the position of our city and perhaps the League of Cities is that it welcomes all municipalities and clusters of municipalities to become cities as long as they comply with all the requirements as stated in the local government code. I hope that my position is very clear. Madam Speaker.
Yes, we noted that.
Yeah.
Madam Speaker, because this representation was also with the League of Cities during the time, together with the honorable colleague from Zamboanga City.
Madam Speaker, the Constitution so provides, there is a section in the Constitution that provides for the creation of cities, provinces, barangays, municipalities. Is that so provided in the Constitution?
Madam Speaker, the creation of local government units, such as municipalities, cities, and provinces, are stipulated in the local government code.
No, I was asking about the Constitution, but for brevity, I will cite to you Article 10, Section 10 of the Constitution that reads, "No province city, municipality, or barangay may be created, divided, merged, abolished, or its boundaries substantially altered, except in accordance with the criteria established in the local government code and subject to the approval of by a majority of votes cast in a plebiscite in the political units directly affected. That is the exact provision, Article 10, Section 10 of the Constitution. After the Philippine Constitution was ratified, then in 1991, the local government code was passed. And there are specific provisions in the local government code that provide for the creation of barangays, municipalities, cities, and provinces. Is that correct, Mr. Sponsor?
Yes, Madam Speaker, that is correct.
Under Section 6 of the local government code, the authority to create municipalities, cities, and provinces belong to Congress. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct, Madam Speaker.
And actually, Section 7 of the local government code reads as follows: creation and conversion. As a general rule, the creation of a local government unit or its conversion from one level to another shall be based on variable indicators of viability, projected capacity to provide services to wit. Mr. Sponsor, there are 3 verifiable indicators of viability and projected capacity to provide services. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Speaker, that's correct.
May I know what they are, or will I proceed?
Well, in Section 7, Madam Speaker, the 3 indicators are 1, income, 2, population, and 3, land area. But, Madam Speaker, there is no doubt that the income requirement is the most controlling insofar as the economic viability of a local government unit is concerned, Madam Speaker. The more income they will have, then the more they will be able to deliver services to its people and improve the area of the local government unit. So we believe that the income is the most controlling of all the verifiable indicators, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Sponsor, I may disagree with you that only the local income is the controlling factor.
No, Madam Speaker, I said the most controlling.
Okay. So if it is the most controlling factor, it also means that the other 2 factors, meaning population and land area, are also very important in the conversion. Do you agree with me, Mr. Speaker?
Madam Speaker, the population and land area are important in the creation of local government units.
So, just to prove my point, in the distribution of the internal revenue allotment, the 100% internal revenue allotment is divided as follows: 34% for municipalities, 23% for provinces, 23% for cities, and 20% for barangays. The pie of the cities, the provinces, and municipalities are further broken down as follows. 50% based on population, 25% based on land area, and 25% based on equal sharing. Am I correct?
Yes, Madam Speaker, that's correct.
So therefore, if you look at how the ERA is distributed, income is not even considered. It is only population, land area, and equal sharing.
That's correct, Madam Speaker. That is why the exemption is being sought, Madam Speaker, because we believe that the conversion of cities or small municipalities with small population in small land area will not affect the internal revenue allotment of the existing cities, because the population is the one controlling, which is 50% in the distribution of internal revenue allotment. So those municipalities with smaller population in smaller land area, if they will be converted into cities, there is little effect on the ERA distribution to existing cities.
Has there been a study made if this the committee report, the bill on the committee report is passed as is, how many municipalities or clusters of barangays will be able to be converted into cities? Has there been a study made?
Based on the committee report or discussion, Madam Speaker, there are only 2 municipalities who can qualify to become cities since they have an income of more than 250 million. And of course, the barangays cannot become a city because they should first become a municipality before they can become a city, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, but in the bill, it says clusters of barangays or a municipality. So I beg to disagree that clusters of barangays cannot become a city. Under this bill, it says clusters of barangay or municipalities.
Those are clusters of barangays under the municipality, Madam Speaker, because the conversion is about municipality to city. So these barangays are those barangays that are under the municipality, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I have here in front of me a publication dated January 28, 2016. And it says, Malay, Carmona, top DOF list of local government units generating own income. The 10 municipalities with the highest locally sourced income to average income are Malay, Aklan, 79% of total income come from locally generated income. Carmona, Cavite, 76.5%. Limay, Bataan, 69.4%. Mabini, Batangas, 66%. Mariveles, Bataan, 64.5%. General Trias, Cavite, 62.8%. Sual, Pangasinan, 62.7%. Villanueva, Misamis Oriental, 62.7%. Cainta, Rizal, 61%. And Tagaloan, Misamis Oriental, 56.4%. How many of these 10 municipalities have incomes of over 250 million pesos?
In the list of municipalities with locally generated income of 250 million, There are bakit ito kasama? Kala ko dalawa lang. Pero yan. Sa lahat, ito. Sabi mo dalawa lang.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Speaker, I have the figures.
Ito? Madam Speaker, there are 7 municipalities which is an income of 200 or more than, which has an income of more than 250 million. But only 2 municipalities has an income of more than 250 million, but the land area is less than 100 or 10 square kilometers and population of less than 150,000, Madam Speaker. The
Madam
others,
Speaker, under the bill, if a municipality has an income of locally sourced income of over 250 million, then the land area and the population are no longer considered.
yes, they're exempted.
So
Madam
therefore,
Speaker.
let us analyze the 10 municipalities mentioned in the publication. Malay Aklan has an income, total income of 384 million pesos, 79% of which is locally generated. So Malay Aklan has an income, locally sourced income of 304 million. Carmona, Cavite has a total income of 514 million. 76.5% is locally generated, so it has 393 million locally sourced income. Limay, Bataan has a total income of 507 million. It has 69.4% locally generated, so again, 351 million. Mabini, Batangas has only 165 million, 66% locally sourced, so it's only 108, it does not qualify. Mariveles, Bataan has 617 million income, 64.5% come from locally sourced, so they are qualified, 397. General Trias has 957 million income, 62.8% are locally sourced, so that is 600 million, it qualifies. Sual, Pangasinan has 198, 62.7 locally sourced, it does not qualify. Villanueva, Misamis Oriental has a total income of 166, although 62% come from locally sourced income, it does not qualify. Cainta, Rizal has an income of 1,165,000,000, 61% are coming from local income, so it qualifies. Then Tagaloan, Misamis Oriental has a total income of 248. 56% is locally sourced, so it does not qualify. So again, you have Malay, Carmona 2, Limay 3, Maribeles 4, General Trias 5, and then you have Cainta, Rizal 6. So at least 6 municipalities. So when you say that even if they have small population or small land area, the distribution of ERA, 25% comes from equal sharing. So every time a municipality becomes a city, then 25% of the ERA of the different cities are affected because of the equal sharing. So that is why I was asking, what is the effect on the cities if 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6 municipalities become cities? So it is not a small amount. So has there been a study?
Madam Speaker, the other municipalities, except Carmona, Cavite, and Malay Aklan, are already, as of this time, Madam Speaker, qualified to apply for a city if they want to apply. Because just like Limay Bataan, they have a land area of 103 square kilometers. So their income is more than the minimum requirement, which is 100 million, and 10,000 hectares of land area. The Mariveles Bataan also, their land area is 153,000 hectares, more than the minimum. Now, if you look at Cainta Rizal, the land area is less than 10,000 hectares. It's only 4,000. But they have a population of 322,000. That means these municipalities are already qualified to become a city, Madam Speaker, if they wish to apply for cityhood. But this bill is giving incentives to those municipalities who are not qualified, both population or land area, but has an income of 250 million and above, Madam Speaker. Thus, this exemption, Madam Speaker. The other municipalities need not ask exemptions because they are already qualified. Now, as to the effect of ERA, Madam Speaker, if all these municipalities that are qualified will apply, since they are already qualified, we cannot prevent them from applying cityhood, Madam Speaker. Of course, there will be effect on the projected share of ERA of local government unit, Madam Speaker. But as to the existing ERA that they are receiving now, if there will only be 2 additional municipalities that will become a city, then we believe that it will not affect their share in the internal revenue allotment.
Mr. Speaker, after the local government code was enacted, actually when the local government code was enacted, under section 450 of the local government code, the average income for a city to become, for a municipality or cluster barangay to become a city was only 20 million pesos. And then it had to comply with either the contiguous territory of 100 square kilometers or a population of 150,000 inhabitants. However, Republic Act 9009 was enacted into law, I think, 2001. And if you look at the records of the Senate, the exchange between Senator Pimentel and I think it was Senator Soto, it says, Senator Pimentel, Mr. President, I would have wanted, this is on House Bill 9009, I would have wanted this bill to be included in the whole set of proposed amendments that we have introduced to precisely amend the local government code. However, it is a fact that there is a mad rush of municipalities wanting to be converted into cities. Whereas in 1991, when the local government code was approved, there were only 60 cities. Today, the number is 85. However, that was in 2001. Today, 2017, the number of cities has already gone to 145,000 cities, more than double the 60 cities that were existing when the local government code was enacted. So, it says, at the rate we are going, I am apprehensive that before long, this nation will be a nation of all cities and no municipalities. That is on record as stated by Senator Pimentel. Madam Speaker, again, when the local government code was enacted into law, there were only 60 cities. In 2001, the 60 became 85. And now, 2017, the 85 has become 145. Mr. Speaker, do you have the records of provinces in 1991, in 2001, and 2017? Also of municipalities? How many municipalities were there in 1991, 2001, and 2017?
Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, we do not have the statistics of these municipalities. But just also a information, Madam Speaker, that as of today, the Honorable Gentleman from Zamboanga City is correct, that we have 145 cities. And out of 145 cities, 74 cities are cities that has an income of less than 200 million. So 51% of the cities in the Philippines has an income of less than 200 or more or less 200 million. That is why for a municipality to have an income of 250 million, this is somewhat a accomplishment, Madam Speaker, that needs to be given incentives. That is why this bill is exempting those municipalities with income more than 250 million, because we know that generating that 250 locally generated income is very difficult, Madam Speaker. Thus, we're giving this as a incentive to the municipalities, which demonstrated good governance, thereby collecting an income of more than 250 million a year.
Do you agree, Mr. Speaker, that, Madam Speaker, that Republic Act 9009 was enacted to make the bar higher, to make it more difficult to become a city because of the mad rush? Because cities from 60 to 85 to 145. Municipalities, when the local government code was enacted, was only about 70, 71. Now there are only 80. So there has been no mad rush of provinces for the creation of provinces. In fact, you can count the creation of provinces to include Sibugay, to include Dinagat, but only very few have applied to become provinces. And also very few have applied to become municipalities. So in effect, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, the average per capita income of inhabitants in the city in 1996 was 981, as compared to provinces, municipalities, and barangays of 815. But because of the mad rush to become cities, so the per capita was higher in the cities in 1995. In 2005, the per capita of the cities increased to 1,650, but the provinces from 815, it increased to 2,153. So the average per capita in provinces and municipalities were already higher. And by 2011, the average per capita of the cities, residents in cities, was only 2,290 as compared to provinces, municipalities, and barangays of 3,822. This is the effect of the so many municipalities converting into cities. So, Mr. Speaker, when the budget was approved in 1991, when the local government code was enacted, do you know what the total budget of the entire country was, the GAA or the NEP?
Madam Speaker, I was not yet in the government
Okay.
during that time.
The annual budget or the GAA in 1991, when the local government code was enacted, was only 248 billion 697 million. And the ERA at that time was 9 million 840. So 3 years after, in 1994, the total budget of the entire country was 330 billion 203, and the ERA was 46 million 820. Moving forward, the 2017 budget for the entire country is 3 trillion 350 billion pesos, and the ERA is 486 billion 890. Meaning to say, comparing the budget in 1991, or call it 1995, to the budget at present and ERA in 1994 to the ERA now, this has gone up by 13 times. So if the requirement to become a city was 20 million at that time, times 13, the requirement now to become a city should be 260 million. So the increase of the locally generated income more or less should even be 260, not 250. But Mr. Speaker, not to prolong the interpolation, will you be agreeable that in the period of interpolation, of amendments, you will consider not only income, but also the other two requirements, meaning population and land area?
So what might be the amendments of the Honorable Lobrigat, Madam Speaker?
The issue right now is that under this bill, the land area and the population requirement to become a city will not be considered if a municipality has locally sourced income of 250 million. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Okay. So perhaps we can still consider population and land area, but for cities that really have a locally sourced income of 250, maybe we can relax the population requirement from 150 million, which is at the present, to 100 million, and still leave the land area as is.
What? Not 150 million, but 150,000 population.
The,
We were
yeah,
talking
100,
about
correct,
population.
150,000. From 150,000 inhabitants, lower it to 100,000. So at least you will still consider either population of 100,000 or land area, the present land area of 100 square kilometers. You have to hit either of the two.
Yes, Madam Speaker. This presentation is agreeable.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I just want to point out two other things. Republic Act 9009 has increased the amount of locally generated income to become a city and compliant of either of the two, to how much, Mr. Speaker? Republic Act 9009. What is the present threshold?
Population. The requirements still the same for population and land area, Madam Speaker, but the income requirement was increased to 100 million for the last 2 consecutive years based on 2,000 constant prices.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, don't you think it is also high time that we also amend Section 450 in a separate bill, of course, to also already increase the locally generated income, because you're already saying 250. Now, it is only 100 in Section 450. Will the sponsor be also willing to co-sponsor a bill later on?
Madam Speaker, I'm willing to also join the Honorable Brigade to discuss this matter, Madam Speaker.
And lastly, Mr. Speaker, you have Section 452, highly urbanized cities require requisites for HUCs. The population is 200,000, but the annual income is only 50 million. So here you have an anomaly. To become a highly urbanized city, you only need an income of 50 million, but here we are rewarding the efforts of local LGUs who have high generated income to 50, they can become cities, but for HUCs, the requirement is only 50 million. Don't you think it was also high time that we amend Section 452 of the Local Government Code?
Madam Speaker, that is the subject of a House bill now filed by Honorable Garcia as far as highly urbanized cities is concerned. The requirement of income for highly urbanized cities.
That's why there is a...
That is now in the committee, Madam Speaker, introduced by Honorable Garcia. We are already started to discuss that, Madam Speaker.
So with that, Madam Speaker, I will end my interpolation, and I am very happy that during the period of amendments, the sponsor will agree to a provision that says that for cities with 250 million locally sourced generated income and a population of 100,000 or a land area of 100 square kilometers, they may be converted into a city. Thank you very much, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you also, Madam Speaker, and thank you to Honorable Brigade.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the distinguished gentleman from the 3rd District of Negros Oriental, the Honorable Arnie Teves, for his interpellation.
The Congressman Teves is hereby recognized for his interpellation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon. I'd just like to ask the Honorable Sponsor what the logic is of turning a municipality into a city. Or to rephrase, what would the municipality benefit from it being turned into a city?
Well, Madam Speaker, those municipalities who really wanted to become city, actually, there are also economic benefits when you become, or a local government unit will be converted into a city. Living in a city, as we all know, Madam Speaker, has its corresponding economic advantage. That is why some local government officials would really desire to convert their municipality into a city, Madam Speaker.
Exactly, Madam Speaker. municipalities want to be turned into cities for economic advantage. Municipalities with big population, big land area, and little income turned into a city would be very helpful to its citizens. Now, I do not see the logic of turning a municipality with small land area, very few people, and much income. I do not see the logic of turning it into a city and giving it additional economic benefits when it has already enough income from its locally generated income and it having a small land area and very little population.
Well, Madam Speaker, as we have said, that these municipalities with 250 million and above local income can already manage and deliver services to its people, and also they can already develop the land area with their income of 250 million and above. But since they wanted to have the title of a city, that is why we would like to exempt them, or we would like to give them exemption that if they have an income of 250 million and above, they will be given exemption that their land area or population will be reduced, Madam Speaker.
In that case, Madam Speaker, if it's only the title they want, would the honorable sponsor be amenable to a colatilia added that they only get the title without the era?
That's not possible, Madam Speaker. And besides, municipalities have limited taxation or limited taxable power. So if you become a city, you will have more income because you will no longer remit RPT to the province. So if you become a city, you will have more income for your local government unit, Madam Speaker, not only the title.
With that being said, Madam Speaker, we go back again to the logic on helping a municipality with big income, low population, and small land area. And moving forward, it will be to the disadvantage of big cities with much population and little income. Because by creating another city, it will sure eat up a chunk of the share of the other already existing cities, Madam Speaker.
Well, to our mind, Madam Speaker, that will not have a big impact to the cities because these municipalities that will be converted into cities have smaller population. And in the distribution of ERA, 50% will be the basis for population. That means if you have small population, then you will have a small share in the ERA. As well as if you have small land area, you will also have a small share of the ERA. So the cities with more population will have more share in ERA, Madam Speaker.
Anyway, Madam Speaker, I raised these questions because by doing so, it will not be far-fetched that some barangay in Makati, where the big corporations are set up, could probably become a city with this bill. And again, I just like to reiterate that this will be to the disadvantage of already existing cities with low population and big area, with high population and big land areas, which very well need the additional ERA from the national government.
Madam Speaker, I think Congress will not allow that. that barangays will become city directly.
Lastly, Madam Speaker, I would also like to ask the honorable sponsor on what the position of the League of Cities is on this issue, Madam Speaker.
Well, Madam Speaker, as it is, ever since, if there are additional or municipalities or LGUs would like to become cities, the League of Cities will really object because accordingly, they don't want that their era will be reduced, Madam Speaker. But as we have said, in the spirit of equality, let the era or the income of the national government be distributed to all the local government units in our country.
One more question, Madam Speaker. What about the League of Provinces? What's their position on this matter?
We did not ask, Madam Speaker, because it's only the cities that are affected, and besides, again, the League of Provinces will also usually will also object because it will also reduce somehow the income of the provinces where these municipalities are located. But as I've said, this is an avenue for this local government unit, municipalities, to develop their localities, Madam Speaker.
Anyway, Madam Speaker, I just like to ask our colleagues here that I don't think it will be wise to vote for something that will benefit the few and to be detriment to many, because there will be more cities affected by this bill and very few to benefit. That ends my interpellation, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Teves.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, since there are no more interpellators, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of sponsorship and debate is hereby closed.
Madam Speaker, I move that we open the period of committee amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Honorable Acharon, Chairperson of the Sponsor Committee, is recognized to introduce the committee amendments if there is any.
Madam Speaker, since there are no committee amendments, I move that we close the period of committee amendments.
The period of introduction of committee amendments is hereby closed.
Madam Speaker, I move that we open the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The floor is now open for individual amendments.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Lobregat for some individual amendments.
The Honorable Lobregat is hereby recognized for his individual amendments.
Madam Speaker, I would like to propose an amendment on line 5 to 18, page 2 of House Bill 4149. What is written right now says in line 5, the population and land area requirements prescribed herein shall not apply if a municipality or cluster of barangays has a locally generated average annual income as certified by the Department of Finance of at least 250 million pesos for the last 2 years, consecutive years, based on the 2012 constant prices, and has either the population or land area requirement prescribed for the creation of a municipality under Section 442 of this code, provided that 3 years after the effectivity of this act and every 3 years thereafter, the threshold amount of 250 million shall be increased by 5%. I propose the following. Provided that
A municipality or a cluster of barangays may be converted into a component city if it has a locally generated average income as certified by the Department of Finance of at least 250 million for the last consecutive years, and if it has either of the following requisites. Italics I, a contiguous territory of at least 100 square kilometers as certified by the Land Management Bureau, or a present population of not less than 100,000 inhabitants as certified by the NSO, provided further that the 3 consecutive years after the effectivity of this act and every 3 years after, the threshold amount shall be of 250 million shall be increased by 5%. So the major change is that we are saying that if you have 250 million, then as long as you have a population of 100,000 or a land area of 100 square kilometers, then you are qualified to become a city.
What does the sponsor say?
Before the approval, Madam Speaker, may we ask suspension of
Session is suspended.
Inaog na lang ang
Session is resumed.
Madam Speaker, may we know if the proposed amendment is clear and acceptable to the distinguished sponsor?
What does the sponsor say on the proposed?
Yes,
individual
Madam
amendment?
Speaker, we would like to thank the Honorable Obligat for the amendments, and this presentation is amenable to the amendments of the Honorable Obligat, subject to style, Madam Speaker.
Madam,
Yes, Mr. Speaker, as long as it is our understanding that the purpose was to have the population and land area still there, but to lower the population from 150,000 to 100,000, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
The sponsor accepts the individual amendment.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, with that, I move for the approval of the individual amendment proposed by the Honorable Celso Lobregat, subject to style that it may accurately reflect the substance of the amendment and subject to the submission of the clear written text of the proposed amendment to the Secretariat for the final draft. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is hereby approved.
Madam Speaker, I move that we close the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of individual amendments is hereby closed.
Madam Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 4149.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 4149 on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye. All those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 4149 is approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we take up bills on third reading.
Is there an objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General.
Madam Speaker, before we proceed, I
Majority Leader.
move that we take up the specific bills. House Bill number 5633, and kindly direct our Secretary General to read the title of this measure.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the title of House Bill number 5633 and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5633, an act promoting universal access to quality tertiary education by promoting for free tuition and other school fees in state universities and colleges and state-run technical vocational institutions, strengthening the unified student financing assistance system for tertiary education and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call of members. Consideration of House Bill number 5633. Abad, Abaya, Abayon, Abillanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Acop, Acosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agrao, Agabao, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagao, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batucabe, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte Feliciano, Belmonte Jose Christopher, Belmonte Ricardo, Benitez, Bernos, Bertiz, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Mundok, Bordado, Bravo Anthony, Bravo Maria Vida, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto Rubiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilaw, Castelo, Caso Franz, Caso Fedenil, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Serafica, Cirilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Co, Cuanco, Cullantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cua, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, De Vera, Defensor, Del Mar, Del Rosario, De Loso Montalia, Dimaporo Abdullah, Dimaporo Muhammad, Dimaporo Khalid, Duwabit, Durano, Di, Ilago,
Madam Speaker, this representation votes yes with strong reservations. Kabataan Party List will explain its vote later. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Please proceed, Secretary General.
Enverga, Erice, Irigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Everdone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Ferriol, Floyrendo, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Fentebella, Garbin, Garcia Gwendolyn, Garcia Jose, Garcia Albano, Garin Richard, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Heron, Goana Cristina, Gomark, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Alexandria, Gonzales Aurelio Dong, Gonzales Fernando, Goreseta, Gullas, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Alasos, Javier, Co, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Lee, Limkaychong, Lobrigat, Lopez Benhur, Lopez Carlo, Lopez Manuel, Loyola, Macapagalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangododato Suarto, Mangododato Sajid, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Carlo, Nolasco, Nunez Maliñaon, Waminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong Edwin, Ong Henry, Ortega, Ortega Pablo, Ortega Vini, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramiresato, Ramos, Relampagos, Revilla, Roapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez Isidro, Rodriguez Maximo, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roquehari, Roque Rogelio, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento Cesar, Sarmiento Edgar, Sabillano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez, Si Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan Angelina, Tan Milagrosa, Tan Sherny, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi Nataman, T, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Uy Bareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Veloso, Vergara, Villaperte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Villago, Yap Artur, Yap Melesio, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Mar Carmen, Zamora Ronaldo, Sarate, Subiri.
With 221 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 5633 approved on third and final reading. The Honorable Ilago is hereby recognized to explain her vote. She is given 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We voted in favor of House Bill 5633 because it is a step forward in making public education free at all levels. However, we remain to have strong reservations as we still observe those contentious provisions that we have pointed out in the past. We are very much concerned about this being a Trojan horse because it introduces free tuition and other school fees for undergraduate students in SUCs. It also aims to cement the dominance of commercial interest in the Philippine tertiary education landscape. And contrary to our proposed legislation, this does not aim to reverse the systematically ingrained neoliberal policies of privatization and deregulation that turned education into a profitable, money-making endeavor. Kapag sinabi po nating free, di lang ito basta libre, kundi dapat ay pinapalaya rin sana natin ang edukasyon sa gapos ng pribadong interes at kita. Thus, we vow to continue pushing for amendments, particularly in the BICAM, to hopefully improve the bill and reflect the demands of the Filipino youth towards achieving free public education at all levels. In particular, we will move to scrap the policy on prioritization, though it may sound good on paper. The guise of prioritizing the poor has been used to legitimize tuition and other school fee increases under the framework of gearing SUCs to generate their own income through the socialized tuition scheme on a national scale. That in effect, it will further restrict access instead of democratizing it. Further, we have to abolish tuition and other school fees in our state universities and colleges. Public education has been transformed into a lucrative business through the collection of exorbitant tuition and other school fees. Nakakabahala rin na kung hindi natin ito gagawin ngayon, babawiin naman ang paglobo ng kita sa mga di-qualified sa ilalim ng universal access to quality tertiary education, katulad na lang ng ating mga graduate students sa SUCs. We should also scrap the preferential guarantee for private higher education institutions, as this is a guaranteed profit to private universities as a way to appease business interest through a student loan program that was included in the bill to somewhat cover for any loss that may be brought about by a possible decrease in enrollment in private schools. The Filipino youth will not stand idly by. We will continue to struggle to address the fundamental problems of education that turns public service into a lucrative business, a right into a commodity, a right into a privilege. Libre at makabayan na edukasyon para sa lahat. Madam Speaker, naway tayo po ay magtulong-tulong para maipaglaban ang isang libre, makamasa, siyentipiko at makabayan na tipo ng edukasyon na hindi lang para sa iilan, kundi para sa lahat. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5648, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the motion and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5648, an act rationalizing strengthening the policy regarding driver's license, providing for at least for a 5-year validity and penalizing acts in violation of its issuance and application. Roll call of members. Consideration House Bill number 5648. Abad, Abaya, Abayan, Abellanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Adbingula, Agaraw, Agabao, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcilla, Sarenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagao, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabe, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Calgas, Calderon, Calixtrobiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catanco, Cayetano, Celeste, Seráfica, Cerilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Coaco, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cua, Quaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, De Jesus, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor, del Mar, del Rosario, de Los Montalia, de Maporo, Duvavit, Durano, Di, El Lago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhayan, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Vadone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Ferriol, Floirendo, Flores, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, García, García Albano, Garin, Gasataya, Gachallán, Gerón, Gog, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Gurizeta, Gullas, Hernández, Herrera D, Hofer, Halosos, Xavier, Co, Conjun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Leachon, Lilim, Caichong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Magpacalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangudadatu, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Minding, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Novel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Maleñao, Mominal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Pimisiesa Gabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramiresato, Ramos, Relámpago, Sevilla, Robapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodríguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sacdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salón, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillanos, Semas, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Suansing, Suárez, Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi, Nataman, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Ibareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Velosa, Vergara, Villapuerte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Vilago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 221 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 5648 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 725, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 725, an act prohibiting the collection of fees from passengers for the use of sanitary facilities located in the land transportation terminals, stations, stops, and rest areas. Roll call of members. Consideration of House Bill number 725. Abad, Abaya, Abayan, Villanosa, Abu, Abueg, Charon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agaraw, Agabao, Aglipay, Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcilla, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagao, Bagiching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista, Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertiz, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixrubiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Seráfica, Cerilles, Chávez, Chipeco, Co, Cuango, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalán, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesús, de Venecia, de Vera, de Pensor, del Mar, del Rosario, de los Dalia, Imaporo, Duavit, Durano, Di, El Lago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhayin, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Bardone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Ferriol, Florendo, Flores, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, García, García Albano, Garin, Gasataya, Gachelian, Gerón, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Goreceta, Gullias, Hernández, Herreradi, Hofre, Jolosos, Javier, Co, Conghun, Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Leachon, Li, Limcaychong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Magpagalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangodadatu, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martínez, Matugas, Miliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Maleñaon, Waminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Remiresato, Ramos, Relámpagos, Sevilla, Roapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodríguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romaldo, Roque, Sakdalan, sa Garberia, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansings, Suarez y Alvarado, Tambuting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi, Nataman, Ti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Uybareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Veloso, Vergara, Villaperte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Vilago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 221 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 725 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, may we request the guests of the Honorable Maria Lourdes Acosta Alba from the 1st District of Bukidnon. They are the officials of the Liga ng mga Barangay of the Municipality of Manolo, Fortich, Bukidnon.
The guests from Romblon, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5342, printed copies of which were distributed to the members. For this purpose, my request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5342, an act regulating public solicitations and providing penalties for violations thereof, repealing for the purpose Act Number 4075, as amended by Presidential Decree Number 1564, otherwise known as the Solicitation Permit Law. Roll call of members, consideration House Bill Number 5342, Abad, Abaya, Abaya na Bellanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Adbingula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista, Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bundok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot Begtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixturbiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Serapica, Cirilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Coanco, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cua, Quaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesus, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor, Del Mar, del Rosario, de Los Montalia, de Maporo, Duavit, Dorano, Di, El Lago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Bardone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Ferriol, Floirendo, Flores, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, García, García Albano, Garin, Gasataya, Gachallán, Gerón, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Goreceta, Gullas, Hernández, Herrera D, Hofer, Halasos, Xavier, Conjun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Lilim, Gaichong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Mapagalarroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangodadatu, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martínez, Matugas, Meliana, Minding, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez, Maliñaon, Maminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirezato, Ramos, Relámpago, Sevilla, Rawapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodríguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sacdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salón, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing, Suárez, Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabinataman, Ti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Único, Uy, Uybareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Veloso, Vergara, Villaperte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suárez, Villarica, Villarin, Villago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
Marami po.
With 221 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against and 0 abstention, the chair declares House Bill number 5342 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading House Bill number 5347, printed copies of which were previously distributed. For this purpose, may I request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5347, an act establishing a local government resettlement program that implements an on-site, in-city, or near-city strategy for informal settler families in accordance with the People's Plan and mandating the relocating local government unit to provide other basic services and livelihood components in favor of the recipient local government unit, amending for the purpose of Public Act number 7279 as amended, otherwise known as the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992. Roll call of members, House Bill number 5347, Abad, Abaya, Abaya na Bellanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Advingula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista, Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot Begtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixturbiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Serapica, Cerilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Coanco, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cua, Quaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesus, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor, Del Mar, del Rosario, de Los Montalia, de Maporo, Dubabit, Dorano, Di, El Lago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhayin, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Iverdone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Feriol, Floyrendo, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, Garcia, Garcia Albano, Garin, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Heron, Gog, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales, Gurizeta, Gullias, Hernandez, Herreradi, Hofer, Halasos, Javier, Kokonghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Li, Limcaychong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapacalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangudadato, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Maliñaon, Waminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramiresato, Ramos, Relampagos, Revilla, Rawapuno, Robes, Rocomora, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sartellano, Semas, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Suansing, Suarez, Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Torabi, Nataman, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Uybareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Veloso, Vergara, Villaperte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Biolago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 222 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 5347 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5350, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5350, an act extending the period for indigenous cultural communities, indigenous peoples, to exercise the option to secure certificates of title to their ancestral lands under Commonwealth Act number 141 as amended, or the Land Registration Act 496, amending for the purpose Section 12 of Republic Act number 8371, otherwise known as the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997. Roll call of members. Consideration House Bill number 5350. Abad, Abaya, Abayan, Abellanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertiz, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bundok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixturbiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Seráfica, Cerillas, Chávez, Chipeco, Co, Coango, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cua, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesus, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor, del Mar, del Rosario, de Loso Montalia, Dimaporo, Duavit, Durano, Di, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhayin, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Iverdone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Feriol, Floyrendo, Flores, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, Garcia, Garcia Albano, Garin, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Heron, Gog, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales, Gurizeta, Gullias, Hernandez, Herreradi, Hofer, Halasos, Javier, Kokonghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Lilim, Caichong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapacalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangudadato, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Maliñaon, Waminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramiresato, Ramos, Relampagos, Revilla, Rawapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sabellano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing, Suarez y Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi Nataman, Ti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Uybareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Velosa, Vergara, Villapuete, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Villago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the chair declares House Bill number 5350 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5576, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the motion and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5576, an act establishing a career guidance and counseling program for all secondary schools and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call of members, consideration House Bill number 5576. Abad, Abaya, Abayan, Bellanosa, Abu, Abuega, Charon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Adbingula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Umintado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabe, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Betis, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot, Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixtrubiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Caetano, Celeste, Seravica, Cerilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Coanco, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cuba, Coresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesus, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor, Del Mar, de Rosario, de Los Montalia, de Maporo, Duavit, Durano, Di, El Lago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhayin, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Iberdone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Ferriol, Floirendo, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, García, García Albano, Garin, Gasataya, Gachalian, Heron, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Cureseta, Gullas, Hernández, Herrera Di, Hoffer, Halasos, Xavier, Conghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Lilim, Caichong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapagalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangondadato, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Meliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez, Maleñaon, Guaminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia, Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramiresato, Ramos, Elámpago, Sevilla, Rawapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sacdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salón, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sabellanos, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Suansing, Suarez y Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi Nataman, Ti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Uybareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Velosa, Vergara, Villapuerte, Villanueva, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Villago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the chair declares House Bill number 5576 approved and on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading House Bill number 5577, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the motion or thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5577, an act mandating the conservation of Gabaldon school buildings nationwide, providing penalties for violations and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call of members, consideration House Bill number 5577, Abad, Abaya, Abayan, Villanosa, Abu, Abueg, Acharon, Ako, Pacosta, Costa Alba, Adjong, Adbingula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglipay Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista, Bandigan, Bilaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bundok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixturbiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilaw, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Seráfica, Cerillas, Chavez, Chipeco, Cuanco, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalán, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesús, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor del Mar, de Rosario, de Los Montaña, de Maporo, Duavit, Dorano, El Lago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Bardone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Ferriol, Floirendo, Flores, Fortuno, Petebella, Garbin, García, García Albano, Garín, Gazataya, Gachayán, Herón, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Goriseta, Gullas, Hernández, Herrera D, Hofer, Halosos, Xavier, Conjun, Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Lilim, Caichong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapagalarroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangodadato, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martínez, Matugas, Meliana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Malañaon, Guaminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia, Sagabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Remiresato, Ramos, Relámpago, Sevilla, Rawapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sacdalan, Sagarberia, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salón, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing, Suárez y Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Talentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Turabi, Nataman, Ti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Único, Uy, Uybareta, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Velosa, Vergara, Villapete, Villanueva, Villarasa Suárez, Villarica, Villarín, Villago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 5577 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 1865, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 1865, an act declaring March 31 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of San Fabian, province of Pangasinan, in commemoration of its founding anniversary. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 1865. Abad, Abaya, Abayon, Abilionosa, Abo, Abueg, Atcharon, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Agdipa, Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonteo, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angar, Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Berzaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista Bandigan, Vilaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Veron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulutbegtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixturbiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilaw, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Serápica, Cerillas, Chavez, Chepeco, Coanco, Culiantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cusalan, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesús, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor del Mar, del Rosario, de Los Montalia, de Maporo, Duabit, Durano, Di Ilago, Enverga, Erice, Eriguel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Esbardone, Bariñas, Fernando, Ferrer, Ferriol, Floirendo, Flores, Portuno, Pontebella, Garbin, García, García Albano, Garín, Gazataya, Gatzalian, Herón, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Groseta, Gullas, Hernández, Herreradi, Hopper, Jarosos, Javier, Conjun, Labad, Lacson, Lagban, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Lichon, Lee, Limcaichon, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapagalaroyo, Maceta, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Dato, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martínez, Matugas, Miliana, Minding, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Malañaon, Huaminalo, Campo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza Primicias Agabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Redampagos, Revilla, Roapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez, Roman Romero, Romualdo Roque, Sakdalan sa Garbaria, Sahari, Salceda, Salimbangon, Sado, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sabillana, Sema, Siao, Silveria, Singson, Suansing, Suarez, si Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tijada, Tebes, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugma, Tupas, Torbinatamanti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Urbareta, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Bilarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Biloso, Vergara, Villapuerte, Villanueva, Villarasa, Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Vieloago, Piu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 1865 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 2131, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 2131, an act declaring July 22 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Claveria, province of Misamis Oriental, in commemoration of its founding anniversary to be known as Araw ng Claveria. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 2131. Abad, Abaya, Abayan, Abellanosa, Abo, Abueg, Atcharon, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adjong, Advinculo, Agaraw, Agabaw, Akdipay, Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angcar, Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Argones, Arbison, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagao, Bacaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barzaga, Batawil, Batocabi, Bautista, Bandigan, Vilar, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bulilla, Bundok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulutbectang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixtorbiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Caetano, Celeste, Serapica, Cerillas, Chavez, Cepeco, Juanco, Coliantes, Cortes, Cortuna, Josalán, Crisol, Cuba, Curesma, Cueva, Delipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesús, de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor del Mar, del Rosario, de Loso Montalia, de Maporo, Doabit, Dorano, di Ilago, Inverga, Irise, Erigel, Ermita Buhangin, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Ibardone, Pariñas, Fernando, Perer, Pierriol, Floirendo, Flores, Fortuno, Puentevilla, Garbin, García, García, Albano, Garin, Gasatay, Gatchalianeron, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Gorseta, Gullas, Fernández, Herrera, Di, Hofer, Javier, Kunghun, Labat-Labat, Lagson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lesatin, Liachon, Limcaychong, Lobregat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapagalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Ango Dadato, Marcoleta, Marcos Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Minding, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Noños, Malañan, Huamina, Locampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Permises, Agabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Relampagos, Revilla, Roapuna, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez, Urban, Romero, Romualdo Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahari, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sabillano, Sema, Siao, Silveria, Singson, Swansing, Suarez, y Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tejada, Tebes, Chanco, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Torbinatamanti, Mali, Unabia, Unico, Uy, Urbareta, Vargas Alfonso, Bilarde, Velasco Catera, Biloso, Vergara, Villapuerta, Villanueva, Villarasa, Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Vilago, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 2131 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 2132, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, my request as the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill 2132, an act declaring June 15 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Opol, province of Misamis Oriental, in commemoration of its founding anniversary, to be known as Araw ng Upol. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 2132. Abad, Abaya, Abayon, Abellanosa, Abo, Abweg, Atcharon, Akop, Acosta, Acosta, Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agaraw, Agabao, Agdipay, Villar, Albano, Alcala, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angcar, Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbison, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagao, Bagatsing, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batucabe, Bautista Bandigan, Vilaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biason, Billones, Beron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot, Begtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto Rubiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casila, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Caetano, Celeste, Serapica, Ciriles, Chavez, Chepeco, Coco, Juanco, Culiantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Quezol, Cuba, Coresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, de Jesús, de Venecia, de Vero, Defensor, del Mar, del Rosario, de Loso, Montalia, de Maporo, Duapit, Durano, Di, Ilago, Enverga, Erice, Irigel, Ermita, Buhay, Escoder, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Bardone, Pariñas, Fernando, Perel, Poloirendo, Flores, Fortuno, Pentevilla, Garbin, Garcia, Albano, Garin, Gasatay, Gatsalian, Heron, Gómez, Gonzaga, González, Goroseta, Gullias, Hernández, Herrera D, Hofer, Halosea, Sabir, Kungkun, Labad, Lakson, Lagman, Lanete, Luugan, Lasaten, Liechon, Lim Kaichong, Lobrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Macapagalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangong Dadato, Marcoleta, Marcos, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Villana, Mending, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Nolasco, Núñez Malañao, Nuamina, Locampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Pandayan, Pisay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Provincia, Sagabas, Kimbo, Redasa, Ramirsato, Ramos, Relampagos, Rivilla, Roapuno, Robes, Rocamora, Rodríguez, Ruman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Arsacdalan, Sagarbaria, Sales, Salceda, Salimbao, Gonzalo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillano, Sema, Siao, Silveria, Singson, Suansing, Suarez, Si Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan, Tijada, Tebes, Chanco, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tupas, Torabina, Taman, Ti, Umali, Unapia, Ungab, Único, Uy, Orbareta, Vargas Alfonso, Vilarde, Velasco, Catera, Viloso, Vergara, Villaperte, Villanueva, Villarasa, Suárez, Villarica, Villarín, Vilago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Zarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 2132 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5552, printed copies of which were previously distributed. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 3404, an act declaring House Bill number 5552, an act declaring April 3 of every year a special non-working holiday in the province of Albay, including the cities therein, in commemoration of its founding anniversary, to be known as Albay Day. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 5552. Abad, Abayon, Abellanosa, Abo, Abweg, Atcharon, Acop, Acosta, Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Alcala, Alejano, Almare, Almonte, Alvarez, Amantong, Antonino, Antonio, Alagones, Arbison, Aumentado, Bagao, Bagatsing, Bagilat, Barsaga, Batawi, Batucabe, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Bertis, Biasan, Beron, Bolilla, Bondoc, Bordado, Bravo, Bectang, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilao, Caetano, Celestes, Chavez, Chipeco, Coco, Liantes, Cortes, Cortuna, Salan, solo Cuba, Cuaresma, Dalog, Dasa, de Jesús de Venecia, de Vera, del Mar, de Rosar, de los Montalia, de Maporo, Doabit, Durano, de Ilaga, Invera, Erice, Ermita, Buangin, Espina, Estrella, de Bardona, Pariñas, Pereira, Periol, Flores, Fortun, Porto, Pentavilla, Garbin, Garcia, Calvano, Carin, Casaga, Chelgan, Heron, Gómez, González, Gorseta, Gullias, Fernández, Herrera, Hofer, Halosos, Javier, Kokunghun, Labad, Lakson, Lagman, Lanete, Lawagan, Lichon, Lee, Hilimkaykon, Lobrigat, Lopez, Leola, Makapaglaroy, Maceda, Madrono, Malapita, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangdadato, Marcoleta, Marcos Mariña, Marcos Martinez, Villana, Mendeng, Mendoza, Mercado, Bondoro, Nava Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Suaminal, Campo Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Papandayan, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez-Sato, Ramos, Rampagos, Revilla, Roapuno, Robes, Rocamoro, Rodriguez, Roman Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque, Sakdalan, Garbaria, Saharis, Saceda, Salimbang, Gonzalo, Salón, Samba, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillano, Sema, Ciao, Silverio, Solsing, Suarez, Alvarado, Tambunting, Tantihada, Tebes, Chanco, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tu, Pastora, Binataman, Ti, Umali, Unavia, Ungab, Unico, Uy, Orbareta, Vargas, Alfonso, Vilada, Velasco, Catera, Veloso, Vergara, Berliaperte, Villarimba, Villarasa, Suarez, Villarica, Villarin, Bilago, Yap, Yu, Samuro, Sarati, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 5552 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5563, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5563, an act declaring April 21 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Orani, province of Bataan, in commemoration of its founding anniversary to be known as Orani Foundation Day. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 5563. Abad, Abaya, Nabillanesa, Abueg, Acosta Alba, Alejano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez, Andaya, Atienza, Banal, Bautista Bandigan, Bilaugo, Biazon, Bundok, Bordado, Cagas, Canama, Castro, Chavas, Crisólogo de Jesús de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor, de Maporo, Ilaga, Espino, Cariñas, Portuno, Garcías, Garin, Gerongo, González, Herrera D. Hopper, Labat, Laugan, Lopez, Maceta, Manalo, Comandadato, Marcoleta, Matugas, Mercado, Noel, Nominal, Ong, Ortega, Pancho, Pimentel, Kimbo, Radasa, Rodriguez, Roque, Sakdalan, Salo, Sarmiento, Simas, Elberio, Swansing, Tan, Tijara, Ting, Tugna, Ti, Ungab, Vergara, Baloso, Velasco, Villaperte, Villanueva, Villarin, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Sarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 5563 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for consideration on third reading House Bill number 5568, printed copies of which were previously distributed to the members. For this purpose, may I request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill number 5568, an act establishing a land transportation office, satellite office in Ticao Island, province of Masbate, and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 5568. Abad, Abaya, Nabillanesa, Abueg, Acosta Alba, Alejano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez, Andaya, Atienza, Bagao, Bagaching, Banal, Bautista Bandigan, Bilaro, Belmonte, Bernos, Biazon, Bondok, Bordado, Cagas, Canama, Castro, Chavez, Cortuna, Cusaran, Crisólogo, de Jesus de Venecia, de Vera, Defensor del Mar, de Maporo, Ilago, Erice, Espino, Pariñas, Ferrer, Portuno, Garcia, Geron, Gonzales, Herrera D, Hopper, Labad, Laugan, Lopez, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangdadato, Marcoleta, Matugas, Mercado, Noel, Nogurales, Waminal, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Paduano, Pancho, Papandayan, Pimentel, Pineda, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Santos, Revilla, Roapuno, Rodriguez, Romualdo, Romero, Roque, Sacdalan, Garbaria, Sali, Salon, Salo, Sambar, Santos Recto, Sarmientos, Sema, Silverio, Singson, Swansing, Suarez, Tan, Teada, Tinga, Tugnatua, T. Umalian, Unga, Vargas, Alfonso, Velasco, Villapuerte, Villanueva, Villariña, Yu, Zamora, Sarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting on the affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the chair declares House Bill number 5568 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we take up House Bill number 5585 on third reading and please direct the Secretary General to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll for the nominal vote.
The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the title of the measure and thereafter call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill 5585, reapportioning the Lonely District and the Sangguniang Panlunsod of the City of Iloilo. Roll call of members for consideration of House Bill 5585. Abaya, Nabilianosa, Abo, Abueg, Atcharon, Acosta, Alba, Alejano, Alcala, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez, Amatong, Anday Castillo, Antonino, Arenas, Atienza, Bagao, Banal, Barsaga, Bataw, Batucabi, Batista, Bantigan, Bilaro, Benitez, Bernos, Vertes, Biason, Billones, Bundok, Bordado, Bravo, Bulutwictang, Cagas, Calderon, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilla, Castelo, Castro, Catamco, Caetano, Celeste, Chavez, Chipeco, Coco, Anco, Coliantes, Cortes, Crisólogo, Cuba, Coresma, Cueva, Delipi, de Jesús de Venecia, de Ber, Defensor del Mal, de Rosario, de los Montalia, de Maporo, Doabi, Durano, de Ilago, Inverga, Rigel, Ermita Buhanes, Pino, Estrella, Eusebio, Bardone, Pariñas, Fernando, Perer, Portuno, Pentevilla, Garbin, Garcia, Garin, Gasatay, Gachilian, Heron, Gomez, Gonzaga, González, Groseta, Gullias, Hernández, Herrera, Hofer, Arusos, Kunghun, Labat, Lakson, Lakman, Laneta, Laugan, Lazatin, Lechon, Limkaichon, Lubrigat, Lopez, Loyola, Makapaglaroy, Maceda, Matrona, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawa, Mangdadato, Marcoleta, Marcos Marinho, Marquez, Martinez, Metugas, Villana, Minding, Mendoza, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nieto, Noel, Nocurades, Nolasco, Duñez, Malañan, Wamin, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong, Ortega, Pacquiao, Palma, Pancho, Panganipan, Panotes, Papandayan, Picsay, Pimentel, Provincia, Gabas, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Lampagos, Villa, Roapuno, Rocamora, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdo, Roque, Sactan, Sagabaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbang, Gonzalo, Salón, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Sevillana, Simas, Ciao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing, Suarez, Alvarado, Tambuting, Tan, Teada, Tevez, Chanco, Ting, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Tu, Pastor Binatamanti, Umali, Unabe, Único, Uy, Urbareta, Vargas, Alfonso, Bilarde, Velasco, Cocatera, Biloso, Vergara, Villaperta, Villanueva, Villarasa, Suaza, Villarica, Villarin, Vilago, Yap, Yu, Zamora, Sarate, Subiri.
With 223 members voting in affirmative, 0 against, and 0 abstention, the chair declares House Bill number 5585 approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we take up additional reference of business and kindly direct our Secretary General to read the titles and the numbers of these measures.
The Secretary General is hereby directed.
Additional reference of business, committee reports, report number 247, House Bill number 5681.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 248 on House Bill number 5682.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 249, House Bill number 5685.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 250 on House Bill number 5686.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 251 on House Bill number 5687.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 252 on House Bill number 5688.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 253 on House Bill number 5689.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 254 on House Bill number 5690.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 255 on House Bill number 5691.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 256 on House Bill number 187.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we direct the Secretary General to immediately transmit copies of the bills that we approved on third reading to the Senate. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is hereby approved.
Madam Speaker, I move that we designate the following members to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of House Bill number 5633 and Senate Bill number 28, Promoting Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education. Number 1, Representative Ann Hofer. Number 2, Representative Joey Sarte Salceda. Number 3, Representative Evelina Escudero. Number 4, Representative Antonio Tino. And number 5, Representative Arlene Arcillas. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved and the members so mentioned by the Majority Leader are elected to the Bicameral Conference Committee.
Also, Madam Speaker, I move that we designate the following members to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of House Bill number 5513 and Senate Bill number 14 on the adjustment of the amounts or value of property on which a penalty is based. Number 1, Representative Reynaldo Umali. Number 2, Representative Henry Uwaminal. Number 3, Representative Victoria Isabel Noel. Number 4, Representative Joaquin Chipeco. And number 5, Representative Abigail Faye Ferriol Pascual. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved and the members so mentioned by the Majority Leader are elected to the Bicameral Conference Committee so mentioned. Majority Leader.
Thus, we are moved for the change of referral of the following measures. House Bill numbers 593 and 2305 mandating the installation of closed-circuit television cameras in public utility vehicles from the Committee on Public Order and Safety to the Committee on Transportation. Number 2, House Bill number 4359 creating the Laguna Lake Conservation Authority, thereby repealing Republic Act number 4850 as amended, otherwise known as the Laguna Lake Development Authority Act of 1966, from the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization to the Committees on Government Enterprises and Privatization and Public Works and Highways. Number 3, House Bill number 3181 creating the Maritime Policy Institute of the Philippines, from the Committee on Higher and Technical Education to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization. Number 4, House Bill number 5495 requiring land, air, and sea transport providers to provide priority seating for the elderly, further amending for this purpose Republic Act number 7432 as amended by Republic Act number 9257 and 9994, otherwise known as the Expanded Senior Citizen Act of 2010, from the Committee on Social Services to the Committee on Population and Family Relations. Number 5, House Bill number 5016 establishing the Baguio City, La Trindad, Itogon, Sablan, Tuba, and Tublay Special Economic Zone in the province of Benguet, from the Committees on Trade and Industry and Economic Affairs to the Committees on Economic Affairs and Trade and Industry. Number 6, House Bill number 5034 establishing a special economic zone in the municipality of Placer, province of Masbate, from the Committees on Trade and Industry and Economic Affairs to the Committees on Economic Affairs and Trade and Industry. And number 7, House Resolution number 757, inquiry on the incomplete or complete but the substandard public works, including school buildings, by the Department of Public Works and Highways, 1st District Office, Catarman, Northern Samar, from the Committee on Public Works and Highways to the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Madam Speaker, I move that we adjourn session until tomorrow, May 23 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Session is adjourned until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you.